Nigeria is set to make a significant move in diversifying its economy by tapping into the burgeoning halal market, a sector valued at $7 trillion globally. With plans to launch a strategy aimed at positioning the country as a leader in the halal economy, the federal government projects this initiative could add $1.5 billion to the nation's GDP by 2027. Well, joining me for more on this, I have with me Ibrahim Ajani, the head non-interest at TrustBanc. Thank you, Mr. Ajani, for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, I think we'll start by trying to understand what this means anyways, because many Nigerians have heard about the halal economy, but what is unclear to them is to what extent, or what is unclear is to what extent they know about it or understand it. So let's begin by getting more understanding of this halal economy. What exactly are we talking about here?
Also, thank you very much. I'll start by introducing informing the audience of what an halal economy means. What we are used to in the industry in Nigeria is what we call non-interest finance or non-interest economy. So again, these words are used interchangeably. Again, we now have globally we have what we call halal economy. It encompasses all products and services designed to comply with Islamic law. This industry spans food, finance, pharmaceuticals, trade, human capital, science, technology, and what it likes across all the industry that we can never talk of. The word halal in itself is just an Arabic name, and then it means permissibility. So Islamic economy, or what we call halal economy, consists of numbers of sectors, comprises of core products and services that are structured in a Sharia compliant manner. And then these are just food, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, finance, travels, lifestyle, media, and then recreations. So the core sectors, right? The core sectors in this industry are cosmetics, personal care, food, beverages, finance, and the pharmaceutical sectors. So recently we have emerging sectors that we're looking at in expanding the halal industry. We have the medical devices, medical tourism, modest fashions and lifestyle, and together with technology. Of course, to enable all of this industry to work hand in hand, and we need to improve on technology development, upskills, human development, and access to finance and logistics services. To give a broader view of what we mean by an halal economy, I'll give series of milestones that have been achieved over the years. In 2013, records have shown that the halal economy evolved from 2013 up to today. So that's why we can have the federal government of Nigeria looking forward to explore the opportunities from the halal economy. Yes.
Okay, let me come in here. Let me come in here, Mr. Ajani. While you were talking about halal economy, you mentioned some sectors, right, that sort of align with halal. But talk to us, these sectors, they exist in themselves, don't they? They do not necessarily need to be under halal. So what or how do we get to that point where we're able to say, okay, so this is under halal? What happens? What are the, considerations?
Okay, so I'll quickly give an example of what we mean by how we came about the Islamic finance itself. So that will now take us to every other industry that we have had. First and foremost, there is what we call the finance sector, and then recently we now start having what we call halal finance or Islamic finance or non-interest finance as we have it in our country. Again, so why do we have it? Because we need to work hand in hand in ensuring that financing of businesses are carried out in a way that is ethical and then it is in line with Sharia principles. So what do we mean by Sharia principle? The way it has been mentioned in the scriptures, in the books, to ensure that transactions are being carried out in an ethical and in an ethical, fair, and just manner. So again, that now translates to where we are now going to for other industries. For example, the pharmaceutical industry. We understand that so many sharp practices are also happening in other industries, and then by coming into the halal industry, it means that this is going to shaping that particular industry and ensure that the principles and the way business are supposed to be carried out in those sectors are in line with Sharia. So what is Sharia? Sharia is just the guiding principles of as mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah.
Right. Well, Nigeria aims to position itself as a leader in the halal economy with a goal of contributing $1.5 billion to the GDP by 2027. Do you think this target is ambitious or realistic?
So for me, the target is both ambitious and realistic, considering the
Okay.
global value of the halal market and the Nigerian strategic position with a large Muslim population. The initiative could indeed inject about 1.5 billion into our GDP, provided that we implement effective strategies and foster the right business environment. A very good initiative is the fact that the central bank governor, the central bank had lowered the capital requirement for Islamic banks. And then this is just an initiative to ensure that there are lower barriers for other participants, other Islamic banks to join the force and ensure that finances are made available for those who are willing to take it. Of course, this would ensure financial inclusion and foster economic growth. Yes, today we can say that the entire Islamic finance industry is still less than 1% compared to the conventional financial institutions. But again, it is estimated that by the end of 2024, it's going to catch up to about $4.5 billion. Again, if you look at the statistics, you see that the significant part is predominantly the sukuk that has been issued. And then you can see the traction where it is usually oversubscribed more. And we have, if you look at the numbers, we have about 59.3% in total value of the industry, and then non-interest bank takes about 39.8%, and then we have other Islamic funds and then Takafu companies in the industry. Yeah.
Wow. Well, in terms of readiness, how well positioned is Nigeria, in terms of the current availability of halal products and services? What are investor sentiments toward, this growing sector?
Yeah, basically, Nigeria is ready as a foundation of halal products and services, but there are room for improvement or growth. Investor sentiment is very positive, with increased interest in ethical and sustainable investment. A lot of banks, a lot of small businesses are looking forward to ethical and sustainable business. That's why, as asset managers, you realize that the target around shaping the industry and financing the industry, finances are tailored towards ethical and sustainable business, which is the core foundation for the halal economy. However, broadening the market scope will require enhanced certification process and consumers awareness. So this basically means that there's a need for us to have a standardization and then to also have a coordinated approach in having in this halal industry. Looking at the demand for the federal government sukuk offerings that has been robust since inauguration in 2017, it tells us that not only Muslims alone are willing or looking forward to the halal financing, halal industry, for the financing for halal businesses, but we have strong demand for investment in the halal sector, especially for the sukuk that has been issued, the 250 billion sukuk transaction in 2021. And then we can also see the tractions, and then it's evident from the roads that are being constructed by the federal government, and then it has also been part of the indicators for the economic growth in Nigeria. So if you look at the numbers, we are also going to be saying that the sukuk was oversubscribed by 346%.
Right. You mentioned something while you were talking. You talked about standardization, and that sort of got me curious. How do we, ensure that these companies are actually following the halal objectives? Because you said, these sectors exist in themselves, but what we are looking at is companies that are following certain rules, that are following certain guidelines. So how do we, come to that part where we say that, okay, this particular company is following the guidelines? How do we do the how do we go about standardization?
Okay, so looking at the leading countries in these halal sectors, the Malaysias and the Saudi Arabias and the GCCs, you realize that they have a particular framework and a roadmap as to how they are able to achieve significant growth in the halal industry. A very good example is where you have standardization that I had mentioned earlier. We can have regulatory bodies through the finance, through the advisory committees of experts, and bringing about those who are well knowledgeable in the use of this principle, the core principles of Islamic values and halal values. So they are able to set this space and then also set standards for how people are able to conduct businesses in an halal manner. you go to China, you go to other non-Muslim populated countries, you realize that for them to have an halal product, they would tag those products halal, and then that gives the consumers the confidence. Not only Muslims alone, but the fact that it is tagged halal, it is expected that it's going to be clean, pure, and then and it is done in an ethical manner. So again, coming back to us, how do we ensure standardization? Is about ensuring that we have on the top layer, we have those who are well knowledgeable in terms of how ethical business has been carried out. Then and then they are also aware of the Sharia principles that guides these businesses. Then we can now start bringing about certifications. So certification means that for all businesses, if you want to be tagged halal or you want to label halal on your business or your product, then you have to get that certification, which is already being done in other countries. And then when you travel around, you see halal products written on products and businesses. Yeah.
Okay, so how ready is Nigeria for this? But before you say that, let me point to something that's very important. Now, the government aims to sort of diversify Nigeria's economy, boost foreign exchange, and also achieve sustainable growth by increasing halal exports and focusing on import substitution. Halal exports, bring the keyword for me. What are we exporting?
Okay, interestingly, like I mentioned, the halal sector is just a brand to other industries. So automatically, it's not an industry on its own, but again, it's a support for other industries that we currently have. A very good example is what we can actually see, talk about the cosmetics, the pharmaceuticals, the lifestyle also. Again, Nigeria just seems to be a kind of industry that is quite backward in terms of SMEs and financing and all. So, but again, agriculture, in the way it is being carried out, can also be tagged as halal, and then we can have processed food that stems out of agricultural products, and then it can be tagged halal, and then it can be sold to neighboring countries. Again, if you look at it, Nigeria has been at the forefront of the Islamic or the halal, not only market, but again in Africa. But so again, we can take that opportunity to also bring forth so many other strategies as to the first Africa Halal Expo in terms of lifestyle and modesty. We can also look at an Africa Islamic fintech incubation and expo, which is already being done in other countries also. And then we can also look at the green finance advocacy, which would help us to achieve our carbon emission target as agreed at the Paris. So all of these things are strategies that the government can also capitalize on, and then ensure that there's a partnership with the global halal network in the success of the initiatives. The GCCs, the halal industry is wide open, is open to collaboration, and then many of them are just willing to expand the halal industry into countries like countries in Africa. And then Nigeria is a very good place in looking at the population that we've got, which is of advantage to us when it comes to the Muslim population.
All right, Mr. Ajani, let's close on this. As an industry expert, which you are, talk to us about possible challenges that could serve as obstacles to the actualization of this initiative. I mean, Nigeria is talking about adding $1.5 billion to the nation's GDP by 2027. And from all that you have said, I'm hearing challenges, I'm saying obstacles. So I would like you to talk to us about that, and we close on that.
Okay, so yes, we have quite numbers of challenges in achieving the halal, expanding the halal industry. I must say that halal industry is currently existing in Nigeria. It's just not being standardized, and then it's not just being mentioned as it is. But again, if you look at the total ecosystem, you will realize that the finance sector, which is Islamic finance, is existing. We have the cosmetics, the pharmaceuticals, the food, and what have you. So of course, the fintech industry, the technology industry is also supporting the ecosystem. However, we have numerous challenges as to the halal certification, the standardization we have earlier mentioned. It is very, very important that the standardization and there are guidelines in which these things are being carried out. So automatically, if we need a roadmap, we need a framework that guides every participant or key players in that industry. That's one. Number two, infrastructural deficit, which is topmost problem in Africa, Nigeria also. this infrastructure cut across the financial sector and also the small businesses that which are enablers of the country's growth. Again, access to greater education and increased acceptance and innovations also is also a core problem, because
Right.
the world is moving forward a lot, and then we see that and the way innovations are not we are quite backward in terms of innovations, and then bringing new things and then solving problems with
All right, Mr. Ajani, I see there is a lot you have to say, but we'll hold on and see what the federal government will do, because today they are launching a strategy to sort of launch this particular initiative. And of course, we'll get back to you when that happens. Thank you so much for your time and your thoughts on Business Edge today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.